So this is the self-development with tactics book.
Reddit or something. I don't know. And with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development Tactics podcast, and I'm looking forward to this episode. So we're gonna skip this part, the information part, where, I do just want to tell you, please go down into the description, because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of free things, and there's a lot of things to also personalize this video and or this podcast, so please check out the links in the description. And without wasting any time, we just go straight into the Reddit questions, and we're gonna see what is waiting for us in here. The first one, it's an image. If you can't walk, then crawl. It's a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. If you can't fly, then run. And if you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Yes, I think it is very motivational, actually. And even though the only problem there is that I think we're often just defaulting into, okay, I have to move really quickly, I have to move just so far, I have to move however. But in the end, it is really the case that you just have to move. Of course, on some days you're going to be faster and you're going to be able to just walk longer distances. But on some days it's just going to be like, meh. Some days it's just not going to be as quote unquote good. Maybe they're going to teach you some things, maybe they're just good for you to just teach you some things and show you some things and let you recognize some things. But not every day is going to be quote unquote as good as some other days you might be having or you might have had. So, but this is fine as well. I'm also having some bad days, especially if we are thinking about analytics. I've just been looking at my analytics, I think maybe 5 hours ago or something. And I've seen watch time is going up and down, and also the views are going up and down, and more or less the views are going down at this point in time. And I haven't had any views on the last 10 videos or something, but I know and I've seen that on some days and some weeks, some months are just not going to be as good as some other months, and it is fine. It really is fine. Of course, I'm trying to really make them better. I'm trying to improve things, which is also, I think, something that's incredibly important, to have the innovation, to do something new, to try something new, to all those things. But yeah, so keep moving. However fast you are going to be or how fast you are able to be, keep moving. I finally made a few positive life changes and already feeling some changes. And you're hopefully also feeling better at this point in time, because I do also have to say, we don't have to change too much. I was 14. Which is, by the way, something that I'm often seeing, especially I'd say in girls, unfortunately, that they're really young and they're just at this point in time and this young age, they're having some mental issues, and I really hate to see that. I really do, because I don't know if it is actually because of their environment or if it is because of the people that are surrounding them, but it really is a fucked up thing if you're having some mental problem in this really early age, because it is still better than having some problems when you're older, because the older you get, I think the more difficult it is to change, actually, which is also something that's quite fucked up, because especially if it is about stigmas, there are so many fucking stigmas around, and it pisses me off really a lot. It really pisses me off such a lot, because especially if it is about just, psychotherapy and psychological problems and all those things, older people or elderly people are gonna be completely closed. It's not going to be open, there's not going to be an open conversation with them about these things, and also not about sexuality and all those things, which is a pity and which is fucked up, because if an elderly people or if an old person is having some mental issues, they're not going to do anything about it. At least I've just had the experience, kinda, or at least I somehow am seeing it, kinda, and it really pisses me off, because I find it just really sad, actually, because this person could do something about it. And especially often it is the case that these elderly people are having the money and also having especially the time for doing something like that, for being in therapy, for getting help, for just trying to solve this problem, but they're not doing anything about it. Unfortunately, because there's a stigma around it, because if you're having psychological problems and you're just ill and you're just having a disease and you're fucked up and you're whatever, which is not the case, But yeah, I know this is another topic for another episode, I'd say. Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend. From Diogenes Laertius or something, which is from the Stoicism subreddit, which is like, it really is a two-edged sword, I have to say. The often the problem that I'm seeing with, okay, time is the most valuable thing that I'm having, please just don't steal my time, please care about my time. If you're just 80 years old and you're retired, you're basically having quite a lot of time. Kinda. In the long term, not really because you're old, but in the short term you have, because you're not having to do anything, probably, besides gardening maybe or doing some other smart shit. But also on the other hand, it is something that's quite difficult to think and also talk about when younger people are talking about it. When they're like, okay, time is the most valuable thing in my life, so I'm not going to spend any time on whatever. The problem then is, it is, at least as I'm thinking about it, it is often a way to just not do things I don't like to do. Whether it is about homework, whether it is about some school things, whether it is about just something else, it doesn't actually matter. But often it is like, okay, my time is so valuable, it is my time, I'm just using my time for this. The question now is, what would you or what would they be doing with that time if this wasn't a problem? Because often it is the case that they're just still gonna do any fucking shit. They would do just something else that's completely nonsensical and doesn't make any sense, kinda. Whether it is just playing video games, which can be sensical, it depends on how you think about it, it depends on what you're willing to do in the end, and all those things. And it is, by the way, also not about making money for me, because if I'm referring to esports, then of course, like, the correlation between money and esports is quite close at this point in time. But the thing is, like, if you're learning something, this is also fine. If you just decide to build something, whether it is a rocket, whether it is an airplane, whether it is something else, of course not a big one, but a small one, it is also a great thing to do, because you're probably going to learn quite a lot of things, which is valuable experiences and valuable knowledge that you can use in your later life. But if you're just sitting there, going through your Instagram feed and doing basically nothing, it's not that good. It really is not that good. You can do something better, and you can do something that's more smart than that. And you can do something that, that just makes sense, kind of. How to improve my self-worth. I've been struggling a lot with my self-esteem lately. Little things like losing something small make me cry and tell myself I'm not enough. I recently broke up with my boyfriend, partly because I wasn't attracted to him anymore, and partly because I was struggling with my sexuality. But after that fact, I told myself I wasn't worthy for a partner. I do struggle with self-harm as well, but I got better than worse. I spent 20 minutes in front of the mirror because I think I look fat. I stopped eating to correct it. Everything in my life has gone downhill, and I don't have anyone to talk about it, because my friends have no interest in talking about anyone's problems but their own. What do I do from here? And I think it is also a valuable thing to look up questions on Reddit, because there's a lot of things and a lot of people that are talking about certain things. And there's also a lot of subreddits that are about mental health problems, that are about anxiety, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, and all those things. Like, there's a lot of communities that are gonna help you. If you're having a problem, please go onto Reddit and ask a question there, if you're not able to find something else when you're Googling it. I think the first step you should be doing is Googling things, not about diseases and not about these things, but I'm having anxiety, what can I do about it? And there's just a ton of great articles. It's gonna take you some time, but take the time. It is about you, it is about your health, it is about feeling better. And you should just really take your time for doing something like that. You should really, really, really take your time and read things about it, or maybe listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video. There's so much free information outside there, and we have to take advantage of that, because we can. So yeah, hi there. Even if I tell you that you are worthy and that I care if you do good or bad, I will also be honest with you and tell you that you need to slowly start taking action. Actions will make you feel good, actions towards what you want. Also, social media and internet have really messed up people's minds. By the way, it's not really something that I really believe in, because you can just delete social media. You can just think about it in a different way, because I don't really feel like that I'm kind of addicted to it, nor do I feel it is making my life worse. I don't know. Maybe it is like when you're just trying to see something in something, then you're probably also going to be able to find it somehow, and you're probably going to be able to see it somehow. But if you're just thinking about something else or focusing on something else while having a look at something, then you're also probably going to be able to find that thing or see that thing. So when you eat, try to eat without watching anything. Slowly build up a habit to not distract yourself. It helps in building presence of mind. Which foot do you put on the ground first when you woke up? Spend time with yourself. Do you already have the potential? You just gotta put it into action. I'm sorry. Don't starve yourself. There are better ways to get shit done, and you'll not give up. Even if you have a moment of difficulty, everything you deserve is coming your way. Thank you so much. That really helped me with my perspective. And I think it's just completely about perspective. It really is. Really, truly is about perspective. There's like if you're having some problems, whether it is mental or physical, there's always two sides on or two ways how you are able to think about it. The first one is obviously negative, and the second one is positive, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. And we choose. It is not like, okay, we are just made thinking about things in a certain way, but we choose. It is our decision. It is what we do. It is not what anybody else does. It is not what anybody else does for us. Nobody else is thinking for us but us, or making decisions but us. And we can make the decision. And so should we. And we should make the proper decision. We should make the quote-unquote smart decision. We should make the quote-unquote right decision. Now, I'd say the right decision quite often, and I would say, I do not want to say always, but it is quite always, actually is looking at the positive ways of life, or the positive sides of life, and having a positive attitude to the future, towards reality and towards things, and so on. So be positive. Really be positive. Try to be positive. And let's end the episode with the last one. It's actually a relatively short episode, I know, but it is what it is. Live a long, youthful life. The goal in life should be to die young, but make it last as long as possible. I do not really agree, especially with the first one. Just the goal is to just die young and whatnot. I think you should just be happy your whole life long. And you should just try to be happy your whole life long. Whatever this might just look like, whether it is living on the Bahamas, doing nothing all day long, working your ass off. For some people, this is happiness. Think about what you want. Think about what you want in life. Think about what makes you happy in life. Whether it is people, whether it is actions, whether it is something else. Think about these things and try to build a life around these things, so that you're having enough money to sustain yourself, so that you're obviously happy. Be happy. Be happy and grateful and live a life that's worth living, I'd say. So this is the end of the episode. So I wish you the best health, love, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself when you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, which basically means just being a nice person, then being remembered as a nice person. And with that being said, there's 3 other questions that I'm having for you, which are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea. But I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So I'll see you soon. Bye.